Right, hello and welcome to BizTalk, and this is a program which we will discuss on matters concerning the national key economic areas and the companies that involves directly or indirectly to the economic transformation program. And I am your host, Sureti Sanusi, and today we're talking about early detection of risk factors in projects with Sri Darren Arumugal, the Vice President of IFS Solutions Malaysia Sdn Bhd of Southeast Asia. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. And before we go on the question and answer session, to the viewers, if you have any questions, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. Right. Sridhar, so you have been the Vice President at IFS for how many years?
It's almost 20 years now. I've been with the IFS. Of course, I started as a application consultant in 1994. That's where IFS started the operation in Asia. And since then, I involved in various areas of IFS, from sales, support, and implementation, and so on, and moving from one position to another position. And of course, times spent outside Malaysia. They involved in activities in Southeast Asia primarily. Of course, I spent some time in India as well as Australia, China, Japan, and so on. So I changed role for over 20 years. I think I've been a consultant,
You've been
manager,
every area.
And now I'm managing IFS operation in Southeast Asia.
And so can you tell us a little bit on what IFS Solutions Malaysia Sdn Bhd does?
I would like to give a bit of company's history and so on. IFS stands for Industrial and Financial System. The company, of course, was founded in 1983 in Sweden. Today we are worldwide. We are operating from 60 different countries. IFS is a leading global enterprise software vendor, and the solution is actually catered for various industries, and I'll touch base on that. And of course, we are 2,800 employees. We have more than 2,000 customers. In terms of user base, today we have almost 900,000 users worldwide. And with IFS, with IFS, IFS is known for of course, I mentioned enterprise solution vendor. We provide solution for various industries. Our solution is known, of course, as being a Swedish company. It's known for technology advancement. And in that sense, the solution that we provide, it's built on a component-based, a service-oriented architecture that gives a lot of flexibility for to the users, how they choose the components and implement this in their organization. And that also gives them a quite quick return of investment. Investment in the ERP solution is quite sometimes seen as a big, but with IFS component technology, we ease those type of burden. And of course, with IFS, we also see what do you call it, the total cost of ownership is quite low. So in that sense, also in terms of I mentioned with IFS, we address 4 key processes in the industry, namely project and asset. So industries that involve companies that involve in the project and asset management. So we have a solution for it. Of course, companies that involve in project management. That's also one of the topic today that we are going to discuss. We have a key solution for this project industries. Other than that, manufacturing sector as well as supply chain management will benefit from IFS.
And all these industries you managed to get into when you first started, or you just managed to acquire it recently based on the government's initiative?
That's right. We started, the way we started, IFS known for, initially we targeted the asset intensive sector. That's how we started, because if you look at the history of IFS, the company was founded by 5 engineers, and the solution was developed to address a particular industry, nuclear power plant. And if we look at nuclear power plant, we are looking at the assets intensive industry. And today, of course, over this for 30 years now. We have evolved added many more components, or modules we call it, to address various industry sectors, from oil and gas to manufacturing sector, of course utility sector, and so on. So of course today we are giving a wide spectrum of we are addressing wide spectrum of industry.
Okay, right. And before we go into details on what IFS does, we have a clip where one of my colleagues went there and to have a look what IFS is all about. So let's take a look at the clip right now.
In managing any company, operation or projects, management and integration are very important to ensure a smooth and successful process. That is where IFS comes to the rescue. IFS is a leading global enterprise software vendor to industries where asset management, manufacturing, field service management, supply chain management, or project management are core disciplines. Recently, I visited IFS's office in Petaling Jaya, Selangor to take a look at what they have to offer. I sat down with Nitin Ahari, IFS's Southeast Asia Director of Business Development, to find out more.
The Malaysian office was set up in 1990s. So we were initially there through one of our partners, and then this became a wholly owned subsidiary of IFS. That was around, I think, 2002-2003. IFS is a Swedish ERP system. We provide integrated applications, and we provide mainly asset-oriented and project-oriented applications. Most ERPs originated providing solutions to manufacturing industries. I started about 30 years back to provide solutions for project-based industries and national industries. So our solutions center around providing solutions for these kind of applications. And the best part is that the entire solution is modular. So based on the requirement of the customer, only a few modules can be given. So the customer can realize benefits, returns on investment fast, then move on for this next phase of implementation.
More than 2,100 companies in over 60 countries rely on IFS applications, a component-based suite for product and asset lifecycle management that can be configured for ERP, EAM, project-based ERP, field service management, or a combination of all four. IFS applications have been evolving to meet changing customer needs since 1983 and is configured for agility, visibility, and low total cost of ownership in its targeted industries.
We started with IFS a few years back on a smaller scale. We start in one company, and then after some years we have rolled it out, and now we use it in most of our, let's say, global companies. We have about 70 companies that we are managing on a daily basis, and when it comes to information and the gathering of information, that gives us a good challenge. And then it's important for us to have an ERP system that could kind of deliver these challenges as a solution to us on a global basis.
Within TSMC, we're using IFS for almost 2 years now. With the good education and also the good help of IFS, I think within 6-7 months we have implemented IFS system, and not only in Holland but also in the UK and in Germany. We really trust the mobile technology. We really think we can have an advantage when we provide all our people within this office, and not only the directors, but also our project managers or work managers, also using a tablet and using the apps.
More than 50 offices around the globe and a worldwide infrastructure for services and support make IFS a reliable partner in global implementation projects.
Managing large-scale businesses or multi-billion projects can be very challenging, but with a profound knowledge of the needs of the industry, IFS has a successful track record in implementing asset management software globally.
assisting major companies to deliver their best. For every challenge, simple or complicated, IFS has the solution. I'm Putri Mahira for BizTalk.
Right, and we've seen what IFS does. So you mentioned a few kind of solutions you've given to certain industries. So probably you can break down on your solutions.
In terms of solutions, the industry specific. As I mentioned, project-based industry is industry that we focus in Malaysia now. Right. If you look at project-based industry that manage high-risk projects, like oil and gas, of course, offshore industry, utility sectors that varies from energy power plant producers to telecommunication companies.
But why are you looking at this kind of industry? And you have solutions for this kind of industry?
This again goes back to our history where we started asset-intensive industries. We see these industries spend a lot of money, this is capital-intensive industry. We have to look after the assets, we need to see the return of investment in the asset. And so that requires a lot of attention from a solution perspective. Our solution gives a tool for the companies to manage their assets.
So I think right now you're also looking towards the construction and also agriculture sector?
Only construction, not the agriculture sector.
Right, so what can you cater for the construction sector?
For construction sector, project-based, construction sector is of course a single word that I can use to describe what you call it EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction industry is actually a risk. And these companies, from the time they secure a project to the time they hand over projects, they face a lot of challenges, and these are risks that they need to manage. They have to manage ever-changing requirement from the customers. They have to manage their subcontractors. They have to manage their resources. Of course, these are all risks,
which they need to look into.
That's right. Other than that, of course, there are areas where they have to the risk factor. The system itself, many companies have visited Malaysia over 20 years, and very often I see companies managing their business without an integrated system. They have islands of system. Let's say, for example, construction industry, you're looking at a planning division, you're looking at the engineering division, you're looking at a procurement division. They use their own system. They are not integrated.
And what kind of risk would they have if they're not integrated?
If they are not integrated, what will happen? Whatever is done by, let's say, project manager will not be passed on to other divisions or other departments. Let's say engineers will redesign something that will not be available for site engineer, and of course the actual construction will be done in a different way than the contract that they have received. So there's no coordination, there's no communication,
and the risk will be higher. We'll talk more on this matter. We have to go for a short break, and so stay tuned to BizTalk. Alright, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@manama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. And today I have Sri Dalan Arumugan, the Vice President of IFS Solutions Malaysia Sdn of Southeast Asia, and we're talking about early detection of risk factors in projects. Before we went for a break, we're talking about what kind of risks that they would be facing if they do not have this kind of solution. So you mentioned a few, so probably you can elaborate more.
Type of risk that we see, one is, I said, many of these companies, they manage their business without any integrated solution. And the solution, either they have a fragmented business solution that lacks integration. That means the system doesn't talk to each other. Engineers will have their own system. Person or the contract department manage some other system and so on. So they don't talk to each other, because there's no synchronization, and they don't have a common plan. Other than that, of course, site engineers, when they perform job, either fabrication, construction, and so on, these are not recorded. If they are not recorded on time, of course, project managers or front office people. They will not know what's actually happening on site. So they will not know the progress, or they will not know the risk that they face in performing their job, and so on. So these are some of the risks related to business solution. Of course, other than that, there are risks like political risk, right? Compliance risk. Probably you have read about this early, KLI 2, talking about compliance, getting CF and so on is not ready because of certain things. So compliance risk. Foreign exchange risk is another main thing in this business, construction business. Because sometimes you buy from outside, overseas, and so you need to factor for it as well. So these are the risks that you see this construction companies see, and of course project managers within this construction must not only have successful communication within the organization. Of course, they should have a system that allows communicate freely with their subcontractors, manage subcontractors, as well as clients. I see. So that's very important.
So how does IFS come into this and give us a better solution to this industry?
To address this requirement, this particular requirement in that industry, IFS come out what you call it, IFS project-based solution. Project-based solution, IFS project-based solution gives high visibility and of course transparency over a complete life cycle of the project, from the start to the end. You know exactly what's happening, and of course that will minimize the risk that we face. If you can detect the risk early stage, you can actually still mitigate that, right? And of course, with IFS project-based solution, it improves coordination within the department, from engineering department to procurement department, construction department, and so on. And of course, by having a common plan, and all these departments, they are updated online, current status of the project plan itself, resource plan, and so on, and that of course will lead to a successful project, and so on. But other than that, of course, within IFS project solution, there are components to manage risk. You can define the risk, you can define what is acceptable level of the risk, and what are the mitigation how we mitigate this risk, and so on. Those type of elements are planned upfront in the project, and project manager will have a control over this risk. But if it comes, then how do we manage it? So that is defined clearly in IFS project-based solution.
We're talking about the software. When you do this IFS project-based, what if the company itself has already, like you mentioned, they have their own software, different departments have their own different software. Would IFS give a solution that they do not really have to change the whole software? Somehow they can just integrate with each other. Do you come up with that kind of solution?
Yes, that is a good question. Of course, IFS, we don't claim that we have a best of breed solution for every other division within this construction business, right? So, and it's not practical also to replace some of these technical solutions, design software. IFS don't provide design software, but we have this umbrella project-based solution, that's umbrella, that takes input from design software, estimation software, and so on, and that will be incorporated in management of the whole project. So that's the beauty of IFS, and of course it allows, with the technology that we are looking at, it makes things easy for IFS to interface or integrate with the additional or third-party system like design software, CAD solution, planning, estimation tools, and so on.
Would you recommend, or sometimes you tell the companies that you need to change certain software in order for everyone to talk to each other?
Yes, with our experience, we have been doing this for more than 30 years now. We are seen as a leader in a project-based industry. With this experience, we have templates, project-based for project-based industry that really gives the customer what they shouldn't have within the organization from a solution perspective, and how they can integrate this to maybe their current system like design software and so on, and that itself gives them a head start with the implementation of the project-based solution.
Okay, and you also mentioned that it's also crucial that all these projects are actually, they have they have to be delivered on time and with certain budget. So how could your solution could incorporate or make sure that it is all delivered within the time frame and within budget?
That's right. That's a good. It's very important. These are two important
two main factors:
KPIs.
Time and the budget.
Yeah, these are two important KPIs in this project-based industry. You need to complete within the time as well as the cost factor. Of course, with IFS PBS, everyone in the project organization uses common plan. Okay, that is very important. That's very crucial because you cannot have a control project by having multiple systems. They don't talk to each other. Any changes made in a design stage will not appear at the site engineer. They might be doing something else, and the design itself doesn't incorporate the planning. Yeah, that's right. So by having this integrated solution, we're looking at ensuring project delivered on time. Of course, that's a key element. Of course, with IFS PBS project-based solution, different departments of project organization such as engineering, planning, commercial, fabrication, finance, all of them interact seamlessly. Right? When you do that, then everyone looking at the same plan, common plan. So they are aware of the time and the budget. That's right. And planning information, when the project manager plans, the planning information flows to all the departments, and they know what is required from time base, when they need to complete it, in terms of cost. And of course, once the work is, let's say the project progresses, the information flows back from the department, individual department, back to the project manager who is in control. So you can easily see how far they have gone in terms of time, what's earned value, in terms of cost perspective, how much are we based on versus the budget, and so on. And hence, project status is always online. People see, and we can detect early if there is anything let's say we are late, and so on. And of course, with integration to estimation, contract, supply chain, finance, HR, project budgeting, that gives a good control for the to the project manager to manage the whole thing within a timely manner as well as within cost. Within the budget. Okay. With all the data that they have received, from the project manager, from the engineering side, would IFS come up with a report pertaining to the risk that they are facing or the risk that they might be facing in the future? Would you do that? Yeah, it's very important for project manager to get pull-out reports from a system, the IFS project-based solution. IFS project-based solution comes with various KPIs. These are reports they can define upfront, and with our experience, we will help customers to define this project KPIs upfront. And these reports can be pulled out anytime they want because information is online, it's available, updated. It's not like site engineers perform job and they update after 1 week, which is too late. With IFS, we always say we manage the future, not the past. So project managers can pull out reports from the system anytime they like. And would you advise, would IFS advise them on the report? Yes, we will advise. We have standard KPIs they should look for, and this will be defined upfront in the project, and it's automated. Project managers, we can automate so that the reports come to the project manager instead of the other way around. The project manager looks for a report. We do that. We'll take another short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on this matter right here on BizTalk. Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@panorama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. And today we have Sri Darren Arumugam, the Vice President of IFS Solutions Malaysia Syndrome, heart of Southeast Asia, and we're talking about early detection of risk factors in projects. Right, before we went for a break, we were talking about how the solution can help to deliver the projects within the time frame and also within the budget. And I would like to know what kind of industry could benefit from this solution. Okay. Project-based solution is catered for industries or companies that are in a high-risk industries.
Okay.
These companies typically every project is unique for them.
Okay.
Right? And of course, each project comes with different type of challenges, and they need to manage these projects within time frame, within the budget, and so on. And very often these companies also require project accounting analysis based on variance analysis, and those are the nature of companies that we will address with this project-based solution. And typically these companies, oil and gas, offshore contractors, utility sector where you are looking at the energy production, electricity generation, and so on. Telecommunication companies, water and sewage treatment plants. So these are companies within we call it as the utility sector. Other than that, shipbuilding and ship repair is also industry that requires project-based thinking, project flavor in the ERP. So that's why we always say project-based ERP, not any ERP, project-based ERP is important for these companies.
Right, so that's where you cater to. Okay, right. Being a solution and also being like you mentioned, ERP also comes with some issues. Okay, we also get some comments from other industry players, and we have right now is from Frank Lee, the CEO of iControl. So let's take a look at the clip and see what he has to say about this issue.
Basically, I would like to divide that into two perspectives, right? When we talk about compatibility and perhaps the infrastructure, I wouldn't say that is really an issue nowadays, right? Infrastructure has matured. Hardware, in fact, the cost per performance ratio has become so low that to the extent you can see that even IBM is selling off the server business. So I would say that in terms of infrastructure costs and stuff like that, it is really now it's become very much like a commodity. People really asking about what the other system that your system system supports and stuff like that, what server does it run and stuff like that. Unless it's a legacy software, right? Legacy in the sense that especially when it comes to ERP, because when it comes to ERP, most of the top players in the world are at least 37 years old. Yes. So if you are at least 30 years old, and in this case minimum 37, that means you started your development in the black and white era, DOS or Unix. So those are legacy systems, so they have an issue on that. As far as iControl is concerned, for instance, right, we started from Windows 95, pure Windows environments. So literally, we will have issues on the infrastructures. Compatibility-wise, of course, at the end of the day, we're talking about nowadays, it's also not so much of an issue anymore because options are available, whether your application is written on .NET, Java, or whether it has to be run on iOS, Apple's kind of platform. So the options are there. There are Windows, for example, Google for cloud computing, you can subscribe to Microsoft Azure, for instance, right? Well, of course, Amazon Cloud, for instance, is so popular all over the place. So there are so many options. So it's not really an issue at all on a technical perspective. But then, okay, now that is really on the technical perspective, right? But there's one issue that I really want to highlight, right? In the involved factors like cost and compatibility of business culture, which is more crucial. It's all been dominated by Western players, especially those from US and Europe, right? So, in fact, lately you can see there is a consolidation going on in the ERP marketplace to the extent that it's very much now become a cartel market, right? I mean, you can just log on, there are so many graveyard blog, for instance, and find a lot more information. So, cost has always been an issue in the sense that because ERP software are being dominated by the Western players that are not happy with ringgit, but either in euro or US dollar, for instance, right? So that's one cost factor, right? But then again, cost is one thing. There are always issues whereby companies say, okay, that is the price I've invested, and yet there's always cost overrun. And it's not just Malaysia's alone, for instance. I mean today you can check on the internet. It happens, especially it's more acute in Asia, for instance. I mean why? Okay, as you know that, the one thing for sure, since 2009 recession, towards end of 2008, there has been a growing recognition that Asian manufacturers are a lot more competitive, which is a fact. So therefore, due to that, it's not just the labor cost factors alone. There's literally a thing called Asian-based business culture, Asian way of doing businesses, right? In the very summarized environment, I always refer to the Western business culture as linear and specialization. Whereas the Asian culture, business way of doing businesses, the culture always has been versatile and multitasking.
All right, and that was a comment from Frank Lee, the CEO of iControl. So he mentioned a few. One is about the infrastructure. Do you have that kind of problem there at IFS? Which I don't think so, because you always update your software, right?
From technology perspective, there are two things I noticed. One is a technology perspective. Of course, as I explained earlier, in terms of being a Swedish company, we are in the technology front, and we were IFS, when we look at the technology, of course we are looking at the open technology, and we break the whole monolithic application into pieces, and we call it a component-based, service-oriented architecture. That really gives a flexibility to the users, and that's also related to the second issue is cost. By providing a component-based solution to customers, whether it's SME or even other type of industry. We really, from my perspective, we give the flexibility to the customer to select those components or modules that are necessary for them in their business, to address their current requirements. And as they move along, they can add additional components to address additional, the new needs that when they grow.
And the other one that he mentioned that all of this ERP are mostly dominated by the US and the Europeans. So in Asia, they don't really look at Asia. And in IFS, are you only catering now in Asia, or are you looking to go abroad and besides the Southeast Asia now that you're in Malaysia?
Of course, the company was founded in Sweden, and Europe is our main market. But of course, in the early 90s, we ventured out from Europe, out to US as well as Asia. And even in Asia, we started in Malaysia in '94, and since then we have set up more than 10 offices in Asia, from of course from Thailand to Singapore to Indonesia to Australia, Japan, New Zealand, and so on. So of course, it's not only Malaysia. We are also looking at a wider coverage of Asia to promote IFS solution.
And it also says that Asia business is very different from the Western kind of business think. So do you adopt the European, knowing that it's from the Swedish base, so you do adopt that kind of thinking, which is the Western kind of culture, or do you maintain, because it's in Malaysia and it's in Asia, you want to have that kind of culture in IFS?
Our approach to this is, slightly different than what the
gentleman
was saying. Of course, from ERP perspective, we follow what we have started now, how we started in Europe and or even Sweden and so on. And typically for project-based industries, Malaysian companies cannot be working. I call it working at your backyard, because more and more they involve in the global economy. So they need to. There are a lot of competitors, even European competitors or Western competitors in Malaysia. So you need to open up. You need to. So for that, you cannot have a Malaysian strategy, Malaysian system, and so on. Of course, even IFS application, to a certain extent, we localize the components to address local statutory requirements. Other than that, when it comes to business, it's open market. So you need to be upfront. I mean, you need to embrace latest what do you call it, technology as well as latest method of handling business. Can we accept that kind of thinking? Let's say you are more into, like you said, you will cater to the solutions which you are brought up with, which is the Western type. So would the Malaysian company be able to adapt to that kind of culture or to that kind of a business thinking? Initially, you tend to see initial resistance to new things. But if with our experience and with our methodology, implementation methodology, we are confident, and we have done this to many companies in Malaysia as well. Of course, initially you see the resistance, and as we move along during the implementation, the companies and the managers and they started to see the logic behind it, and of course there's no big difference between doing business here and doing business in Europe, because the basic concept of things of doing business is same, and the solutions addressing those needs, business needs to be efficient. So you specialize on what they need rather than you just give them a template and this is what you can do with it. That's right. Okay, that's right. We'll go for another short break, and then when we come back we'll talk more on this matter right here on BizTalk. Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. And today we're talking about early detection of risk factors in projects with Sridharan Arumugam, the Vice President of IFS Solutions, Malaysia Syndrome Heart of Southeast Asia. Now, during the solution, what are the challenges that will arise when getting those who are working in the sites to commit using the IFS rather than this, I don't think this is going to work, I'm going to change to what we know best, which is the old kind of way, the old system. So how can you make sure that they commit to that and they will get the results that what they want? Yeah. Let's just look at some of the challenges that we face with site users. Of course, people working in the field such as offshore engineers, technicians, and so on, often they have limited access to the system, right? The business system used by their companies. This is due to the fact that some companies they have this closed door. They don't allow people access from outside because of security reasons or company policy. And of course, another factor is technology. Technology means the system that they are using. They're not familiar with. Not only familiar, it's not catered to address this remote access. Right. So that's one thing. Second one is limited access to the hardware. The type of hardware. Nowadays we can use laptops, tablets, and even mobile phones, and so on, smartphones, to access the system. Right. And of course, in that case, companies need to provide this type of hardware to engineers, site engineers, and so on. So the second issue is equipment itself. Of course, I like to carry my own, like bring your own device and so on. That's a key thing nowadays. And the third thing is when it comes to people, the engineers or technicians, we have this resistant or reluctant to use a mobile applications or a smartphone to access system. Simply because not that they don't like or they do want. Maybe the application or the system that they have within the company is not user friendly. Right. So these are the key things that you see, the challenges that you see to get field workers to use systems. But with IFS, we invested heavily for the past 10 years. We have invested heavily to make IFS application mobile to many users or all users, especially at the sites. Of course, because when you look at the project business, construction business, most of these people, the key things are happening on site, not in the office. Every project manager can do planning and so on. That can be done within your server and so on. But laptop and site users, they should have mobile equipment, mobile devices, and this. By giving them access, of course, it opens up business system to site users, where information is updated online. And earlier we looked at the risk, where design engineer at the office, they change design, and field engineers, they don't know about this, they don't get that. So the design, they tend to design the wrong thing, right? And actually that will cost the company a lot more than providing this type of infrastructure. And with IFS applications, of course, our mobile application, one of the key challenges that we see in even oil and gas market, satellite connection itself, or even construction industry, if you're looking at a thick wall doesn't allow connectivity. With IFS application, it comes with a offline mode as well. When the connection is out, the information will be saved in the mobile device, and when the connection is restored back, information will be updated on the server. So that's the flexibility that we have with our applications.
So how do you cater to the people like they're not familiar and they're really reluctant to use this kind of software or solutions? How do you cater to those people?
Okay, nowadays we see even kids, the way they use a smartphone, they don't need training. Smartphones are very easy to use. And so on. That is actually a principle behind IFS applications as well. Our touch application that runs on the mobile phone or smartphone or tablets. They are very simple applications that can be used. If we know how to use Facebook, it's similar, and it is role-based application. Touch apps are role-based application. Let's say as a manager within the organization or project manager, I can just go into the application and open up, and it will give me a view of how what do you call it, instant view of application. That's one way of doing it. And if I go out of this, I also can do, there's another application says, if I'm a project manager, and I will have instant access to the purchase requisition or purchase orders that I need to approve. If I'm manager approving purchase orders, I have instant access, and very simple to use. I don't need to go through training within IFS. I believe you can use this as well. By looking at this, it shows purchase orders or documents I should approve. I can just click on that and I see the details. And whether I approve it or I can just review the details, and I can just paste approve. And this goes to the finance department or purchasing department instantly. So the application is very simple to use. Application is very simple to use. They minimize training needs.
So they do not need to be afraid of technology after this.
Not at all.
Right. We also have another issue or comments also from Frank Lee. He's mentioning something about awareness on the ERP as well. So let's take a look at the clip right now.
Basically, we look at the SME. The GST implication is going to one thing for sure. With the implementation of GST is a lot more complex in the sense that it's a multi-stage taxation. The tax has to be monitored and reported at every stage of the whole supply chain. So therefore, and then of course it's not just, in fact, to be fair, it's not just affecting those on ERP, what we call software. Even those small SME, basically it's fine for them. They really need to have a good accounting software so as to automate all the GSTs tracking and reporting. But of course, for larger corporations and in fact, as you know, is that it's not even GSTs alone. Larger corporations, they need to survive. We need to maintain the kind of competitive level by having more of the optimum efficiency and productivity through the implementation of GST, right? So at the end of the day, Malaysia, of course, our industrialization started back in the 1970s, right? So in Malaysia, I would say that it's a fairly mature market in the sense that most companies, one way or another, already have ERP systems in place, right? But having said that, having a system in place doesn't mean it's a successful ERP software, right? Because, for example, as far as iControl Moco is concerned, if we have any company having an ERP solution that just produces 70 or 80% of their company's automation, that is considered a failure, right? So back to your earlier questions is that based on what I mentioned earlier, it shows that there's an utmost importance of having the right systems in place. It's not an option. Nowadays, a lot of large corporations, they can't survive without having a proper ERP systems in place. So with the impending GST implementation, the only way to go is, perhaps it's a chance, now is the time for them to find for a better ERP solution, or simply just upgrade to make sure that it's Malaysian GST compliance. So basically, those 70% that they have the GST, the compliance, is literally whether, as long as they want to be in business, this has to be very competitive. As we're talking about globalized competition nowadays, that's the only way to go. Upgrade your system to be GST compliant. Frankly, Malaysians ERP users has becoming more and more mature. They have, most companies already gone through at least first, second rounds of ERP computerization. So I would say that in fact nowadays, in fact since since quite a number of years ago, our sales cycle has been becoming a lot more easier. Today's users nowadays are getting a lot more smarter, right? They won't simply buy into the ideas that, oh, that feature is not there, the dealer is going to customize for them, no worry, get it documented. They're not buying into that. They say, I'm buying an ERP, I want to buy a complete product. Show me what you have. It's just as simple as that. So today, basically, at the end of the day, because being Asian, ERP design based on Asian, so it entails us to have a solution that's a lot more comprehensive. Just like I mentioned to you, in terms of reports alone, it's almost 4 times the size of the nearest competitor. So therefore, basically, today's users, in fact, they have recognized that, they're becoming more and more mature. And so to them, basically, literally, it's not just because you are from, the brands from the US, it must be very advanced. No. They literally go through the presentation, product demonstration in detail, and in fact, a lot of decisions will be made based on minimum customization.
Right, and the ever popular GST, so that would be included in the cost, that's what he mentioned. So would that be affecting the cost of having ERP, the solution, in the industry?
I would like to address that from IFS perspective. Of course, IFS is being used worldwide,
right.
And via GST, the product comes with GST support for GST, right. And this is being used in Singapore. Many companies in Singapore use IFS, and it addresses their GST requirement. And in Thailand, maybe we call it VAT, right. Value-added tax, and so on. So from a solution perspective, it is there. Only thing is changing people's mindset, train them how to use it. And some of our customers, even in Malaysia, they have started, even though it's not implemented yet. Some of them, they are doing trial run because the system is the feature, right? GST feature. And of course, another comment that I would like to see from IFS perspective as well, awareness, ERP awareness. The comment was, nowadays people know what they need and so on. But for me, from IFS perspective, I've seen this in Malaysia for 20 years now, and this awareness varies from one industry to another industry, one company to another company, because I see manufacturing companies, they are aware of this ERP, the need, what they need, what solution, what particular component they need, and so on. But going back to our topic today, project-based industry, sad to say, even public listed companies in Malaysia, many of them that I have visited, not really using this project-based concept to manage their business. That's where you see delays in projects, non-compliance, cost overrun, and so on.
Right, and you mentioned that people aware of this and they use for trial sessions. So in your company, the trial, how long does it take to ensure that the operation is on track? So how long would be the trial session for each solutions?
Now, for project-based industry, going back to project-based industries, the trial session, we call it implementation period. Implementation, typically in a project-based industry, takes around 4 to 6 months time. And of course, we always encourage people to use assembled system, right? Because our IFS system is highly configurable, and again, it comes with a template, industry best practice template from Wipro and many other customers within the industry, and it takes 4 to 6 months, and that
to make sure it's on track.
On track,
right?
And that gives a quite good, fast ROI, investment. You invest in ERP, after 6 months you see the benefit of it, and also that gives you flexibility or good control on managing the cost. Total cost of ownership is very low, and IFS, being ease of use, because it's very easy to use. As I mentioned, training need is very minimal.
Very minimal.
It's well accepted by operational users, like the project within the project organization.
Okay.
Now, once the system goes live, then it will take maybe 1 or 2 months for them to go online. Again, changing people's mindset, addressing infrastructure needs, like people, off-site people, they need to get into the system through mobile application or devices and so on.
But they might think it's a little bit hassle for every moment they have to really log in.
That's right.
At first, but
once they use it, they will not let it go. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and we're almost to the end of the program. So if they need to know more on your solutions or any kind of your products, where should they go to?
Okay, of course, we have our own website. It's www.ifsworld.com, and that's our general website. That's where the visitors can get to see our broad offering of IFS from technology perspective, from solution perspective, from industry perspective. Even in that site, users can see, or customers can see our existing customers, our customer stories, testimonials, videos, benefit, cost benefit, and so on. Various things they can get it from this website.
Right. Okay, I forgot to ask you. I think I need to ask you this. The cost. You mentioned cost again and again. So usually the solutions would come. What is the minimum amount to how steep the price would be in your solution?
Yeah. Again, because of this technology, we have flexibility. Customers can start as low as RM 500,000 invest in a startup system with IFS, and that it can grow as big as possible within projects.
How much do they need?
If they require all the components with IFS and a full support from IFS and industry expertise, industry specialists and so on, of course that will raise the price or cost further.
Right. Do you have any events coming up soon that they can go and check it out on their own?
These events are listed in our website, as well as, of course, we always involved in the industry events like oil and gas seminars, oil and gas service council, the oil and gas Asia. These are events that we participate. So interested,
they can check it out on the website.
Or they can contact us in our local office to get more information.
Okay, sure. And thank you so much for being with us and talking about your products and also the issues that we have today. And thank you so much for tuning in to BizTalk. And until we meet again real soon, I'm Suraji Sanusi. Thank you.